Hey, what's up guys, Every Design Root here, and today in this video we are going to be solving a big problem for designers, and that problem is creating a stunning portfolio that dazzles everybody. So in this video we are going to be creating something like this. And yes, we are going to be animating it. I've already created a design in Figma, so we're going to look at how we can import that into Framer, animate it, and then publish it. And I'm going to add a Figma file for free in the description of this video so you can follow along. I know that's something that you all want, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. So this is our design in Figma. To bring this into Framer, what I'm going to do is select this frame here, go to my plugins, select Figma to HTML with Framer. It's going to copy all the layers and make it ready to be pasted into Framer. Now let's go back into Framer, right click and paste. And this is going to bring our design in here. Now it's not going to be perfectly aligned with the Framer, so what I'm going to do is resize the Framer frame to my design size, which is 1440, just like this. And another thing that I want to do is, because it's a complete website frame, so I need to resize the frame of Framer to the size of my design. And if I just drag it right down below where my design ends. One point that I want to clarify here is that there is no perfect collaboration between Figma and Framer. So sometimes the design that you copy from Figma to Framer might not look exactly like how you designed it in Figma. Have a look at this. This image here is not how it is supposed to be in the actual design. So if I jump back to Figma, so this is how it was supposed to be. It was an absolute position which was not transferred into Framer. Similarly, in the services section here, as you can see, all of these cards are also not how they're supposed to be, and the icons are also not properly aligned. This is actually how they are supposed to look, not like this. So the good thing is that this can be solved, but before we do that, I'm just gonna take care of a few things. Let's go to the layers, and I'm gonna get rid of this wrapper stack, which is also called auto layout in Figma. So I'm just gonna remove stack right from here so that we have all the layers in our desktop stack. So there you go. Now let's fix this image. This one is a quick fix. So I'm just gonna select this image here. This is already a part of this stack here, this section. I'm just gonna change this position to absolute, which it was originally in Figma. So I'm just gonna adjust the position now, and it's not gonna destroy everything. Now there's a white space here. How to fix this? To fix this, just select the desktop and convert it into a stack. To add it into a stack, just press plus on layout and it's going to add a stack layout to it. And remember, I told you stacks are also called layouts in Figma. Now, as you can see, there is some spacing in there, so that's because there is a gap between them. I'm just going to set it to 0. There you go. And we also need to make our navigation sticky to the top, or maybe fixed to the top. So I'm just going to select the navigation here, and let's rename it to navigation and set the type to fixed. Now, once I set it to fixed, now as you can see, it is being stuck to the top. When I preview it, it's going to stay there. And I need to change the hero section padding now so that there is sufficient space on top. So I'm just going to change the top padding here and make it into 200. There you go. It looks nice, beautiful, and that's perfect. And now let's try to fix this stuff. Let's select this frame here and turn the wrap on, just like in Figma. Now it has already solved much of our problem. Now another thing that I need to do is change the distribute to start so that it aligns perfectly from the start. Sorry, not space between, start, just like this. Now let's select these service cards in here one by one by pressing Shift key, and I'm just going to select all of them and change the width to 50%. So it takes up the 50% space because there is some padding. So we need to reduce it by 1%, maybe 2% so that it fits in here. There you go. Perfect. Now let's fix these icons here. Now this is a very weird behavior by Framer when you bring in a design from Figma. So all you gotta do is select the vector shapes and press Enter key on your keyboard. One by one, select the layers of vector shapes, press Enter, and it's gonna be fixed. Again, select the shapes and press Enter. There you go. And again for this one, select the vector layers and press Enter, and it's gonna be fixed. Now I know that this is a very weird behavior on Framer's part. I've already told you that nothing is perfect when you bring a design from Figma to Framer. All right, all icons fixed. Now let's fix this dog here. Select the dog and change the position to absolute and move this dog a little bit down just like this, how it was in Figma. There you go. Perfect. Now let's preview this and we're gonna see a problem here. Now when I scroll down, you can see the menu going away just like that, and it's looking very weird. So I need to fix this. Remember, we created our menu as fixed, so we do need to change the Z index for that, which is kind of bringing it forward. So if I change the Z index to 2, it's gonna come forward just like this. Now when I preview, it's behaving just like how it is supposed to. Now that we have our design looking like how it was originally in Figma, it's time to spice things up. At the moment, it's just a static page. I want it to have interactions and links and animations so that when I publish it, it can be shared across and viewed as my portfolio rather than just a static page. For example, let's look at this button. I want it to be an interactive button so that when I hover it, it changes. When I click it, it opens something. To do that, I'm just going to create it to a component. So to do that, all I got to do is right click and click create component. And let's name it as button primary. It's going to take me to the component page. Now I need to create a hover state. So I click this and create an hover state and change the color to something like 70% opacity when it is hovered. So let's go back and let's try it out. When I hover it, now you can see the opacity decreases when it is hovered. Now let's change this second button here at the bottom. Let's go there and go to the assets panel and bring this component that we just created. And let's get rid of this button. But before that, I'm just gonna copy the text here so that I can change it later on in the button above. Right, so let's get rid of this. Now to change the text, I haven't set the property for the text. How do I do that? So I'm just gonna go into the button component by double clicking it, select the text, and now go down here into the content property and click add variable, plain text, and let's keep all the settings as it is. Close that and go back into the home, and now you will see this title property that can be changed. I'm just gonna change the text to say hello, I'm online. There you go, that's fixed. Now what about this button here? This button looks a bit different from the original button, so we need to create a variant. So let's go into the button component by double clicking the component in the assets panel and create plus variant to add a variant. Now all we gotta do is change some styling to create another variant. I wanna add a border to it to make it outlined, but I'm just gonna copy this color from here and I'm gonna give it to the border just like this. And now I'm gonna get rid of this fill. Another thing I wanna do here is change the icon color and the text color. So go into the layers panel and select all these 3 dots, give it the same color as the outline, and select this outline here as well for the icon and change it to the red color that we have. And for the text, change the color to the exact same color. And there you go, we have our secondary button ready. Now go back to home. Let's bring in the component, drag and drop it to place it in there. And let's change, actually let's copy the text and paste the text in here. There you go. and change the variant to variant 2, and let's get rid of this. Now let's preview them and see how they work. Go to preview, and you can see that this is an hover effect. For this one there is no hover effect, but for this one there is a hover effect. So I want to add a hover effect to this one. Let's go back to the variant and add a hover variant for this. There you go. And let's do the same thing. Actually let's do a fill of the same color, but with a very less opacity, up to 5%, I guess would work fine. Now let's test it. Go to home and preview. Now let's have a look. When I hover this, you see a subtle red fill color in there. Perfect. Now to add a link, there is something that we need to do. Usually when you select a frame, there is an option to add a link on top here. But because this is a component, so I need to go into the edit component section and add a link variable to it. So I'll see link on top here, press plus and then plus and set variable, and it's gonna add a link variable to it. And it's automatically gonna add it to all variants. Now when I go back home, I will see the link option here, and I can add my URL or link to a page that I've already created. For now, I'm just gonna give it google.com and close it. Now let's preview it. When I go here and click on it, it's gonna open google.com. Just like that, our website is now interactive. You can add link to your email or your Behance account, whatever you want. You can just put your link onto the button now and it will work. Another part that I want to make interactive are these cards here. I want to make them sliding, just like a carousel that you might have seen on different kinds of websites. So how do we do that? Talking about carousels, basically there are two kinds of carousel in Framer. The one is the standard kind. It's not self-moving on its own, but it has some arrows that you can use to move around and slide through the carousel. The other kind is called ticker, which is self-moving and infinitely looping. And there are a bunch of controls that you can use to make it more interactive, like hover. You can make it slower on hover, and you can make it stop on hover. In this video, we are going to be using the ticker carousel. I will make a separate video in which I will go into depth of these controls. All right, so to add a ticker carousel, I'm just going to go into this insert tab here on the left top and search for ticker. I'm going to drag and drop it into my section here, just like that. And next thing I want to do is make sure the size is correct. So I'm just going to set the width to fill. And now I want to connect these cards into the ticker. So I'm just going to bring these cards outside and put them just like this. You don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it for my simplicity. And let's change the text to web design. And for this one, let's change it to UI UX design. Now all you gotta do is, actually let's get rid of this frame because it's an extra frame. Now I'm just gonna resize this ticker to adjust the height and connect all these cards just like this from these dots on the right side. There you go. Now you can also adjust the height if you want, but this works for me, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. Okay, so I'm still bothered by this because it's not going to the edges of the section. So I'm just going to put it over here. And what I'm going to do here is duplicate this section, this latest verse section one more time, just duplicate it. And now I'm going to place this ticker inside in here. You will see why. I'm just going to get rid of this my latest work now. And now what I want to do is get rid of the right and left padding so that it goes right next to the edge of the section. So I don't need any padding for this. So I'm going to get rid of the right padding and turn it to 0 and the left 0. And there you go. It's blending seamlessly. The width is not set. So I'm just going to set the width to fill so that it fills the section just like this. And let's get rid of this top padding as well and change the bottom padding for this to something like 36. There you go. Looking great. Let's preview this. Actually, let's add some padding between them. actually gap between them. I'm just gonna change it to 36 because I have a bit more gap. So gap 36. Now let's preview it. And if we go down, as you can see, the ticker is moving smooth, but still it doesn't have any interactability. But I need it to be interactive. I need it to be clickable. When I hover, things should move. So what I will do here is go to the frame and select the card and right click and create component out of this. I'm gonna call this card app design. So unfortunately, I gotta do this for each card. So what I'm gonna do is add a hover state for this, so that when I hover, it should at least have some interactability. And the interactability would be that the images move a bit higher, just like this. Let's go back to home and create a component for the second card. I'm gonna call it card web design. And again, create a hover state. And again, for the original, I think so it's a bit too higher, so I'm just gonna make them lower. And on the hover state, I'm gonna pull them up a little bit, just like that. Now let's go back, and for the third card, I'm gonna create a component, and I'm gonna call it card UI UX design. And again, I'm gonna create a hover state for this one. And for this one, I'm gonna make it a bit more interesting. I'm gonna resize these cards and make it smaller on hover. Now let's go back to home and try it out. So let's play this, and if you go to that section, now when I hover, it works beautifully. Now again, with the same principle as the button, you can even add links to these cards. But for these specific cards, you might want to create more pages like services, and you want to link them to these cards. But in this video, we're just gonna have a look at the home page. Now let's do this for these testimonial cards here as well. So I'm just gonna drag and put them outside my frame, get rid of this extra frame. And what I'm gonna do is quickly duplicate this section 3 times. I'll tell you why. So for the first section, I'm just gonna get rid of the button. For the second section, I'm gonna get rid of everything. And for the third section, I'm just gonna keep the button. And in the middle section, I'm gonna add that ticker again. So go to insert and drag and drop the ticker, make it fill in the width, and get rid of the right and left padding. There you go. Looking great. And I want to change some bottom and top padding as well. So I'm just going to get rid of the bottom and top padding altogether. So now what I want to do is resize this ticker and connect them to the cards that I have. Just like that. Beautiful. These are looking great. Now let's preview them to see if this works. And there you go. We have sliding testimonials. That's awesome. Everything is working. On hover, we have these cards. Another thing that I want to do here is I want to make this ticker slower when I hover. So if I select the ticker here, I see this hover option. I'm going to reduce it. And now when I go back and preview it, when I hover, the ticker slows down so that it gives user more time to make a decision if the user wants to click on it or anything like that. Another thing that I want to fix is that I keep changing the height of the frame. So I have to manually do it every time when I change something. So what I can do is just set the height to fit content, so it automatically adjusts to the height of my content automatically. So far we have imported a static design from Figma, fixed it, and then added some cool interactive elements like buttons and carousels. Now it's the time for the fun part, animations. I'm gonna add some cool animations to different elements on the page, which is gonna completely change the feel of the website. But before I do it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up because it's going great. Now back to the framer. I'm gonna add animation to this character. I'm gonna select it, click effects, click appear, and it's gonna add appear animation to the character. So first thing I will see is I will change the preset to slide in from better and change the animation effect from enter effect. Now here I can play with a lot of settings, just like offset from where the animation starts. So I'm gonna change the offset to something like 188, yeah, and go into transition. Here I can change the damping and the mass and stiffness to make the different effects of the transition, and I can even add delays, and I hit preview to see how it looks. Let's go back to see if any more settings can be changed. I think so. That's it. I'm gonna just preview it. It's coming way too quicker. Let's reload it. Yeah. So appear animation comes whenever you reload the page, and it's automatically gonna trigger that animation, but it's way too quicker. So I'm just gonna go into effects, go into transition, and maybe add some delay so that when I load the page, it comes after maybe 0.1 seconds. Yeah, that looks great. Now let's add some more animation to these service cards here. But for these ones, I want the animation to begin not when the page loads, but when we reach this section. To do that, I'm just going to select one of the card, go into effects, add appear animation, and set the trigger to layer in view. So whenever this layer is viewed, animation begins. And this is the point from where the view begins. So I'm going to set it to center, get rid of the exit. For the replay, I'm going to set no, and enter effect, I'm going to set to ease. So it's going to fade in really smoothly. So let's try it out actually and see how it works, because you got to try it out a few times to see and achieve the results that you want. Yeah, it's coming way too quicker. So if I reload this, as you can see, it's coming way too quick. So what I want to do is I'm just gonna go into the animation panel, enter animation, go into transition, and let's add some time delay so it comes slower, and add some delay of 0.2 so that when I reach, it starts animation after 0.2 seconds. So there you go. Now the animation is slower and smoother. Now I want to do this for the rest of the cards. So what I'm gonna do is now copy this effect by right clicking and then selecting all these service cards just like this. And now on the effects panel, right click and paste, and there you go. Let's preview it. And there you go. Beautiful. Just look at this, how beautiful this is looking. Now let's add some more animation to this dog maybe. So I want this dog to slide in from the bottom. So to do that, if I select the dog, oops, sorry, I need it to be in a frame just so that everything is in frame, not a rogue vector file. Now let's go into the position and set it to absolute just like that. And let's change the position of the dog. Oh, I'm actually changing the vector, so I want to do it from for the frame. So I'm just gonna select the frame, and with the arrow keys, I'm just gonna adjust the position just like that. Now let's add some effects. Go effect and click appear, and in the trigger panel, set layer in view in as soon as it appears from the start. And for the exit, get rid of this, no replay, and in the transition, I want to change it to delay 0.4. Let's try it out. Actually, make it slide from bottom, and now change it to have a delay of 0.4. Yeah, that's gonna work. Let's go and preview it. Yep, that's beautiful. As soon as I come to this section, the dog appears, and that's great. It's looking really cool. Maybe what I want to do is add some damping so there is a bit slowness to the animation. So it's a bit heavier. Yeah, that's smooth. Let's reload the page. Yep, that's very smooth. That's cool. The page is looking great now. Maybe I want to add some animation to this text as well. So I'm just gonna go into effects, appear, and I'm gonna make it slide from left actually. right? So slide in from left, just like that. Get rid of the exit animation, no replay, and in the if the transition, I'm just gonna make it ease into it. I'm gonna make it a bit slower, like 0.8. Now let's go ahead and preview it. So everything is smooth, and there is my text coming in from the left. Now that we have our design ready, now it's time maybe I should publish this and see it in actual view rather than just preview. So to publish this, just go onto the top right and click this publish button, and it's gonna automatically create and host your website onto this link. It's a really cool feature, but you can add your custom domain if you want and you don't want this weird name, inspirational channel. So let's click this, and there you go. Our website is now looking great, and it's all animated. It has interactions and everything, but there are certain problems. I can see that this dog is misaligned and this image of character is misaligned. So what I want to do here is go to this image here, and I'm going to pin this to the right side because this is an absolute position. So I want to pin it on the right side onto the top and to the bottom, pin top, and pin right. Get rid of the left pin. Now when I go and publish and update this, you need to update this, make sure you do that. So now if I go to the link, and there you go, it's automatically pinned over here. Now we gotta do same thing for this dog over here. So I'm gonna select the frame of the dog. Make sure to select the frame, not the vector shape. So I'm gonna pin it to the top and right and get rid of the pin left. And now let's go ahead and publish this link again, update it, and go to this link. And now you can see the whole website is ready with all the animations just like how we want it. It's looking great. Now our website is ready. It's published, it's animated, it's interactive, and it's looking really cool. There are still two things that needs to be done here. One is to add navigation, and the second is to make this website responsive. I'm going to show you partially how you can do that, but I'm going to leave it for you guys to try out your creativity. So here it goes. To add a navigation and make these navigation links work, I need to go into this component of navigation. Remember that we created, go into edit component, and now let's click on one of the link items, which is services. On the top, I see a link option. When I click plus, I will have option to add a link. Now you can add a URL here, or you can link to one of the existing pages that you have created. In the pages, I've already created a services page. So I'm gonna add a new page here, and let's get rid of this services page for now. And now rename this one services. Now let's add some text here by pressing T. I'm just gonna add some text, call it services page. Now it's up to you guys how you design this services page. That's your creativity to handle. Now let's go back to home into the component itself. Now select services, click plus on the link, and now link it to the services page. Now it might become blue because by default Framer adds a style to it, so we can modify it just like this. Get rid of the default color, and on hover I need the color to be green, so I can just use the color dropper to select this color here. Now let's go ahead and preview this, how it works. Let's go ahead and preview this, and if I go into services, as you can see, when I hover, the hover effect works. Now if I click this, it's gonna take me to the service page. Now what about if I want to go back to the main page? So what I want to do here is go to the service page and go to my assets panel and drag that navigation component in here as well. Now this is using the exact same component. I want to resize the services page to 1440 because that was the size of our home page. So I'm just gonna put it over here, make it fixed, just like how we did it in home page. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go into the component again. And now what I'm gonna do is add a variant which will be used in the services page in which the services text would be highlighted. So I'm just gonna select the services text from here, change the font to bold. What else I want to do here is change the color to this green color over here. And what I want to do here is I want to make this home color to the default color, which is this one. And I want to make it regular instead of bold, because when I go into the services page, I want this to be a regular home page rather than a selected one. So if I now go into services page, I can change the variant to variant number 2, and there you go. Now, one other thing that I want to do here is add a link back to home. So because all variants take properties from their parent variant, which is the main variant, so I'm just going to go ahead and select the home from the main variant and select the link to home, and it's going to set it all for the other variants as well. So if I go and select the home for this one, it's already set. Now all that is left to do is try it out. Actually, let's go to home page and preview it. Now if I hover it, and it works perfectly fine. So that's how you can add navigation. Now go ahead and create these pages and link them together, and your website will be ready. Now, to make a website responsive, just click this breakpoint plus button and you can add a tablet and phone breakpoints. So if I go and create a tablet, you're going to see that it has already created this design in tablet view, but it's not perfect. So this is where I want you to go ahead and try fixing stuff like fixing the sizes of the image, and maybe create a variant for a tablet variant. So let's do that for now. I'm just going to create a tablet variant for this navigation, and maybe in this tablet variant I want to get rid of the navigation altogether and add a hamburger menu. So let's add the width of tablet variant to this navigation so that it fits. Let's get rid of this navigation altogether in the tablet variant. Maybe you can add a hamburger menu to it, but I'm not going to do that. I will leave it to you to explore. Now let's change the variant to tablet variant, and there you have it. I will leave the rest of the stuff to you guys to explore and try it out and create a responsive web page for the design that I've just created. So that was it for today's video. Hope you guys appreciate it. I've already added the link to this Figma design in the description of this video. Now, it takes a lot of effort to create these videos, so make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot. See you in the next one. Peace out.